All right. Welcome everybody to the Dude Real Estate Show. I am here with Billy once again. Billy, what's up?
Nothing much. I'm excited for our topic today. I don't even think I have the answer ready. So it's going to be good.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about do you need an LLC or something similar to get started in real estate investing? This is a really kind of it's a big topic. If you go like the Bigger Pockets forums or anything like that, like everyone's asking, all the new people are asking, like, do I need an LLC or an S corp or one of these other business entities to invest in real estate? So we're going to dive into that today a little bit and figure out if we do or not. So Billy, do you have an LLC?
Yes.
You do. Okay. So you have some experience with that. What
Mhm.
are your thoughts i- as it relates to your current business and then as it relates to real estate? Like what do you like or not like about having an LLC, and do you think it's necessary?
I think it is necessary for the current business I'm in, just to protect my personal assets outside of the business. So for me, it means protection, being that if a lawsuit happens, that they're going to sue the business entity and not my personal um, assets, which I'm not a legal person, but that's the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, neither am I. I'm
Yeah.
not an attorney. None of us are.
Yeah. So,
Not a CPA either. So we're just, we're just talking about what we might know or not
yeah.
know about this.
Yeah. And then for real estate, I always pictured myself buying under an LLC just because I again, like the protection, but I don't think it's necessarily something that you do need. Um, but I'm sure you can tell me more than.
Well, when we first started buying rental properties, we did set up an LLC. So the reason for it was we both had some assets. And like you said, that's really what it is, limited liability company or corporation. And it limits your liability to that business.
Mhm.
So if you do get sued or have something else catastrophic happen, it only affects that business. It's still going to be bad potentially, but
Mhm.
they're not going to come after your house and your car and everything you got. So it is a way to limit that liability. But a lot of new investors starting out may not have a lot of assets.
Mhm.
Um, if that's the case, and you don't mind being sued for your 50 bucks in the bank, then you might not need an LLC because, depending on what state you're in, each state is going to be different for,
Mhm.
what the cost is. I've seen anywhere from like a couple $100 to $1,000,
Mhm.
depending on what the state is to set it up. And then there's some rules too. You have to have like your annual meeting, and there's like a few little things to do, and you can do that with an attorney, or you could use a site like LegalZoom,
Mhm.
something like that to get it set up. It's not super complicated. It's kind of annoying in my opinion, but it's just something that you do want to do if you want to protect your personal assets.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, if you're new and you don't have a lot of assets, or you don't really care too much about the liability that could be involved,
Mhm.
especially just in a first deal, then you don't have to do it. You really, get some experience, see if real estate investing even is for you.
Mhm.
Maybe you'll have a bad experience, or just find out that I'd rather do something else. Um, then you're not out that few $100 or $1,000 or whatever it is, and the headache to
Mhm.
kind of keep up with some of the LLC paperwork throughout the year. Um, there's really, besides kind of those 2 points, there's really only one other point I want to make right now, and then we can get into some other questions potentially, but this might be a shorter video this time.
Mhm.
So when an LLC is created, it's kind of like a baby. It's like it's
Mhm.
newly formed, it's brand new, it was just
Mhm.
born. And so that's the way a lender is also going to look at it.
Mhm.
So if you're trying to get a loan in a brand new LLC, sometimes it can be a little tricky. And even if it's fairly straightforward, they're usually going to charge you more. They're going to charge you almost more like it's like a commercial loan or something like that. It's just
Mhm.
that they're you have no history. Whereas when they look at you personally, you have a credit history and a credit report, and they can see what your earnings are and stuff like that. And if you're brand new, LLC has not flipped a property or bought a rental property, has zero experience, any of that stuff, just
Mhm.
keep in mind that that's how lenders are going to kind of look at it too. So some things that some people might do are set up an LLC,
Mhm.
let it kind of age a little bit, um, but purchase your first property in your personal name. And then what you could do, and obviously talk to your attorney, um, but you could quit claim the property into your LLC in the future.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a workaround too, where you're going to get a more favorable interest rate probably under your own personal name and credit. And
Mhm.
then you can continue to carry that into. Now when it is quit claimed, a bank can technically call that loan due, but it happens almost never. But just be honest
Yeah.
with your bank, would you guys call this due maybe, or call around,
Yeah.
see if that happens. But I have yet to hear of that happening, so it's a fairly common practice. So that's one way that you could do it. But yeah, just when it's brand new, there a lender is going to look at it
Sure.
as like someone without any credit either.
Yeah. So will the LLC, is it just time, or do you have to like open a credit card with the LLC, like to build credit, like someone who does that personally, or?
Yeah, I would view it the exact same way. Like if you're trying to, like, say, rebuild your credit or any of that, or just add to your credit, you want to get to that magical 800 credit score, whatever it is. What do you have to do? You have to pay down debt, make income, pay off your debts on time. I mean, those
Mhm.
are the main things. And so you want to do the same things with your LLC. You want to set up a separate business account,
Mhm.
and if you can get a credit or debit card, or upgrade at some point to a credit card, start
Mhm.
using it so that you're building up the credit. Obviously,
Mhm.
when you do have a property in the LLC in the future, you just want to have the records of this is what the property makes, if you're making 10
Okay.
grand a year, just so they can see that, okay, yeah, this company, this LLC is actually making money. It seems like they know what they're doing, and they seem like a reasonable credit risk. So we'll work with them.
Mm. So the other question I have off of that is, so you set up one LLC. Did you just have one LLC, or I've heard of people doing an LLC per property, just to keep track of it, or what scoop?
Right. Yeah, there's different strategies or different ways of thinking about it. Again, it depends on risk. Like if you like, some people do a new LLC for every property. That kind of keeps everything compartmentalized. Now,
Mhm.
again, going back to my original point of it's paperwork, it's fees, all this stuff. So it's like, does that property generate enough revenue where it kind of makes sense to do all that and keep track of all that? Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe not. Some people will just group maybe a handful of properties, maybe call it 3, 4, 5, 6 properties, one LLC, and then they'll start another one. So then
Sure.
you're kind of keeping each one a little bit separate, segmented out. And then in some states, I don't think it's available in every state, but there's something called a series LLC,
Okay.
which you can set up just one LLC, and then you can set up sub series for each
Mhm.
property. So it's kind of like having that separated out within just one LLC though.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have any experience outside of just the LLC? Like you mentioned S corp.
I do not. And so that's why I'd recommend talking with a CPA and an attorney, just to figure out, depending on the type of real estate investing you're doing, because it might look different if you're just doing fix and flips versus long-term rentals or something else entirely. So it might be, depending on what you're doing, it might look different. So talk to
Mhm.
them and just kind of plead your case. This is what I want to do, or this is what I am doing. What do you
Mhm.
recommend, based on your tax bracket and what you expect to make and all those kind of things. But it seems like most people that are doing like long-term rentals are going to do LLC. I think,
Right.
like for some people that are maybe doing fix and flip and stuff like that, an S corp could make sense. But again, I'm not an
Mhm.
expert in that, and I don't really know the ins and outs.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. That might do it for this video. It's kind of a short and sweet video, but I think it'll help people think about, first of all, do I need one, or when do I need one, and how do I kind of segment that out and think about that. So yeah, hopefully everyone can get some value out of that. I think definitely at some point in the future, though, like after that first property, you're going to want an LLC to start protecting your assets, because the more your assets grow, the more liability you're going to have. So, all right, that does it for us today. Everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.